My name is Gust Gianos, and I'm in the industrial racking industry. And I work as a structural engineer designing systems for a wide array of clients from big to small. We led with the implementation of CRM, as well as the creation of a custom quoting and order processing module through Creator. We're also going to be branching out into the finance and adding on to the Creator side of things with a custom order processing system as well. With sales, we really were not doing an adequate job of following up with customers or really tracking if we were landing and closing things, if we were negotiating things properly by applying the correct discounts. We really were not using any sort of tracking system to follow up on those leads at all. In the manufacturing side, which we're still kind of working through, we really do not have a solid tracking system for where things are at in the process. So sometimes it can be very difficult because we work with a lot of I'll say picky clients that will sometimes need things kind of changed on a dime, and if we have to take a whole day to go through and figure out, okay, where is everything in the process, it makes it really challenging to get back to the customer in kind of a speedy manner, which is really what they want to hear. RBI started 10 years ago, actually, and we branched out from an existing company called Constant. And Constant kind of changed gears in terms of their business strategy, so they really left the American market, but there was still a lot of demand for the product because it's a quality-made product. So the powers that be started RBI, and we began working off of really the foundation of a business that already existed, but we wanted to take it in a different direction. Now we're up to about 15 in the engineering and sales office, and I think in total we're at about 200 employees. A big challenge that we had and kind of currently have is bringing technology into the industry. The industrial racking industry is pretty rigid and traditional, so change, especially when jumping to kind of a new system that covers everything, is pretty difficult to do. Because we're operating out of two offices, and there's a lot of different work styles that go on between those two offices, and it leads to a lot of problems when one office is trying to advocate for the customer and the other office is pretty much geared towards all the manufacturing and really protecting the business. So there comes a lot of kind of warring between the two sections. We do work with a lot of clients that change gears a lot. When buildings are going up, there's a lot of changes that can occur. So there are some times where we'll get an order to put together and we'll go sections A, B, C, and D. And then when it comes time to actually ship the product out and install it, they go, well, we can't do anything over in section A because we're doing something else there today. So you need to send us completely different things. So in having that kind of rapid switch, if everything's done via sheets of paper and Excel documents, it makes it really hard to mobilize and rapidly make changes. We briefly looked into Sage, I believe. We didn't get very far on that because both that and I think there's a Microsoft solution. Both were pretty what you would expect from kind of a larger company where it's you need to work your business into their model rather than the other way around. I think there was one other competitor that was specific to the material handling industry, but they were very early in their process. So even when we were kind of getting a demo, they were like, well, you have to imagine that it would be kind of like this. So it was really hard to jump off of that. I think having really, it turned out to be, I think, 2 days worth of sitting down and going through everything, and that was on a user by user kind of what is this person going to need to do their job more adequately. And I don't know if we would have gotten that with anyone else. We probably would have gotten something more generalized of what department needs what. But because it was really geared towards how does this individual work, and really because we're a company of individuals, not departments, it makes it a lot easier for us to move forward with this person needs this to succeed and get better, so let's work towards what they need. In a traditional industry where people are not exactly excited for change, really selling them on something is easy to do when you can kind of go, okay, well, we spent 3 months working on this and we're going to improve 10 things that we do. So far, we've had kind of a wide array of training. We've had some instances where a team has come out to actually sit down and train with us directly over the course of like a full afternoon, sitting down and kind of working through the nitty-gritty details of everything from like the CRM module to the custom tools that we have in Creator. We've gotten video walkthroughs, which have been really helpful for people that can't make meetings, or just for us to go back and kind of go like, well, I kind of remember the procedures, but I'm a little foggy on one part of that. CRM, I think we were utilizing it in, I want to say like 2 months or so. With getting live on Creator, we probably took about 8 to 9 months. So, in moving forward with the processes that we're adding on, we internally are trying to, jump from something like writing note card orders or Excel documents to a system that has automation and logic to it. So there's been, I wouldn't call it growing pains, but we're definitely stretching, and I think in terms of who's been holding up the train, it's definitely been on our end, because we're just kind of like, this is a lot to jump into, but we're definitely getting there. As of right now, it basically took what we were doing with sales and kind of padded the front half of it in terms of the operation of figuring out leads and really where to spend our energy. I know we're really excited about moving forward. We're currently testing a work order module where an order will be released to the factory, and somebody will build an individual work order for an individual part that has all these subcomponents. So in terms of where we can track things, this is going to open up a tremendous amount of doors for us to move forward with. I think what has been the most valuable is that although ZBrains has been listening to what we say we need, there's also the expertise that we're getting from ZBrains of, yeah, you guys are asking for this, but really what you need is something a step back. And that's been a really big help for us. So I think scaling and growing is definitely going to be something that continues to happen. And I'm just as we've been going through the process, every other week we kind of come across something that we go, oh, it would be really great if we could do this with the system. And more often than not, it's either answered through what we already have, and it was just a feature that was tucked away, or it's moving out into a new program. Would recommend Zoho just because they have pretty much every single app you could really think of. In fact, I think sometimes they have almost too many to select from. So having a ZBrains there to kind of go, well, maybe you shouldn't be using this and you should use Help Desk instead, has been pretty helpful, at least in directing energy into the right source. I would highly recommend ZBrains. In working with ZBrains, it hasn't felt like we're working with some external company that really they're looking to just get a paycheck. Mm-hmm. It's somebody that wants to come in and improve how we do business, because they can see that maybe there is a quality business, but it's kind of buried under all these layers of systems that aren't really that efficient. Kind of the luxury of working with ZBrains is that if we try to ask Zoho for a solution and we either don't get the response we want, or maybe it's not satisfactory, we can usually go to ZBrains and they can kind of help us out a lot, because they either know the answer or they know who to go to kind of get it answered. So that's been a really big help for us.